So I've been reading a book this week. I'm about halfway through it. And I'm kind of gutted oodles as none because this is going to be right up his street when I describe the components of this book. So it's called Iron Widow by Xiran Zhao, who is they're a Canadian youth young adult science fantasy writer. The blurb on the back of it basically describes it as, imagine the Handmaid's Tale meets Pacific Rim.
Oh.
Okay.
It's hyperfeminism with mechs.
Oh, sweet.
So the book itself is kind of it's a rough retelling of the rise of Wu Zetian, who was the Chinese Empress of China in the late 600s, and it's set in. So the book follows a young girl called Wu Zetian, who lives in a nation of Huaxia, which is a futuristic reimagining of medieval China. Which is constantly under attack by alien creatures, Hunduns, as opposed to the Huns.
Yeah. Hundun Wing.
Yeah. Aided by mysterious and unseen gods known as the Heavenly Council, humanity has recovered from a devastating attack ages ago that forced civilization to rebuild. Humans have learned to harvest the bodies of defeated Hunduns to create giant fighting mechas called chrysalises. So this version of China is basically it's hyper exaggerated for what people generally believe China to be, and there is a whole thing where women don't have the best time in China, and so this idea of China as being like it's being destroyed and then kind of rebuilt, and they're in a kind of an advanced. It's like medieval, but more advanced. Like they have technology as well. Women are explicitly in this book chattel. Like it's often it's referred to like women specifically having a monetary value.
Oh God.
There was a lot of talk with Zetian herself having bound feet. So that whole thing where they break the feet and fold them in on themselves, and it's horrendous and painful. The big thing. So the way these chrysalises work, so they're piloted generally by men who can release their chi in the 5 classical Asian elements. The pilots are treated like celebrities by the media and adoring public, but the pilots rely on concubines, who are female co-pilots who supply them with additional chi at the cost of their own lives. So basically, the male pilot is flying this thing, but to do some like the extra powers that the chrysalises have, they need more energy, more of this chi energy than they can supply, so they just drain it from a woman that's strapped to them.
So the women are batteries, basically.
Yeah. There are situations where you get male-female parents that don't risk killing the concubine. These are called balanced matches. They're rare and treated like celebrity marriages. So even when the female partner is powerful in this world, they are still treated as it's still treated as you belong to the pilot. So the start of the story is Zetian getting herself ready because she's enlisted as a concubine because her oldest sister died as the co-pilot of like one of the top scoring chrysalis pilots, and she wants revenge, and she wants to murder the fuck out of this guy. And it is really, really angry vengeance. Because and what the book does, and I quite like this, is it tells both sides of it. So like Zetian explicitly hates a lot of men because the way men have treated her. And it's not until kind of halfway through the book she kind of meets a man who defies her expectations in not in a kind of like super ultra romantic kind of way, like cliche kind of way, but he's a man who isn't an animal, who doesn't treat women like shit, doesn't rape women, doesn't attack women. He's a big dangerous person, but only dangerous for like people who wrong women. And so like she then kind of discovers feminism through his eyes, but then he also discovers confidence through her because they become kind of a balanced match. But it's fucking polemic. It's angry. She wants to kill everybody, and it is written for a teen audience. But actually, I think it's fine just marking it as a science fantasy novel. It's unlike like a lot of the Chinese fiction I've read. It's not overly interested in the workings of China and like at this point, there's no Communist Party of China. This is a different world, effectively. So you don't get a lot of the kind of political wranglings that you get with a lot of Chinese fiction. But you get some kind of descriptions of impressive battles. You find out a lot about the mechas, these chrysalises. And it's a really bizarre combination of things, but it kind of works. And I'm into it. And Xiran Zhao is a new author. This was their first book. Came out in 2021. It was on the bestsellers list for 34 weeks. It's like they've exploded out of nowhere. And before this, they haven't really done anything. They're a cosplayer, they've written stuff. Cool. But yeah, they're a cosplayer from Canada of Chinese descent, and yeah, they are killing it. Really, this book is really fucking good.
When you first said it was like a mix between The Handmaid's Tale and Pacific Rim, I thought, is this going to be one of my movie rewrites one day? Because it sounds like something that...
It's a weird combo.
It is a weird combo, but it kind of works. I mean, that's just how one reviewer put it on the praise thing on the back of the book. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's a really interesting book. It's definitely a concept I would have never considered. And it's kind of nice to see as well. It explores Zetin's desire for revenge and this kind of pure anger that she has. And it also does frame that as not necessarily a good thing for her.
Right.
It's killing all the men in the world is not going to help her. It's not going to bring her sister back.
Yeah.
And she even has things that, she'll have dreams where she sees her sister and her sister's keep going. Don't let yourself get killed by these people. Keep going. And stuff like that. And for a lot of the first kind of chunk of the book, she's very prepared to die as long as she gets revenge for her sister kind of thing. But the kind of being in battles and with the Hunduns and that gives her a reason to live. So I would check it out. Check out the audiobook version of it. But it's good. It's not a complicated book, but it's an interesting world that Zhao's written, and I would recommend people have a listen to it or have a read of it.